The Blackhawks have been playing well, but if the power play was working, it would look a lot better. How would Tony Granato fix it? We'll find out next on CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Monday, if there is such a thing. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. In a moment, we're going to be joined by Blackhawks analyst, former player, former coach, Tony Granato. But first, we're going to tell you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube and on your favorite podcast app. Make sure you are following or subscribed and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So let's go right out. We have a limited amount of time with Tony, so we're going to get right to it. Tony, thanks for being with us. This is the first of what will be several visits over the year, and we're excited to have you. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We're happy to have you. Absolutely. The big story coming out of last night's game and the big story today at practice was the Blackhawks power play. It has simply not looked good this season. Today, they moved Andre Burakovsky up to the first unit. What are you seeing from the Hawks power play? What is not working, and what would you do to fix it?
Well, I think there's two key components to getting set and getting zone time. One, it's winning a faceoff. The first draw, obviously, is in the opponent's zone. So if you can win that first draw and get set, it means a lot to your power play, because if you got to go back and chase it and break out, obviously, you're giving the penalty killers kind of excitement to start the PK, and they think, oh, it's off to a great start. It gives them a lot of momentum. So I think first thing is not necessarily having to win every draw, but it's to make sure that you don't lose the draw clean and give them a clear. I mean, there's lots of teams that have great wingers or centers that can tie up a little bit, that you can jump in and help on a faceoff so they don't get a full clear, even though you don't win the draw. I think that would be the number one thing, of figuring out how to just get more pucks off of faceoffs to start in the offensive zone. And then the second thing is definitely the breakouts and the entries. So when you cross the blue line, the plan and they're running the routes and making sure that everybody is accountable on finding ways to recover pucks on the entries. Those two things, once I think they settle into that and focus on those 2 points, I think their movement with the puck when they are set and their options that they do have are good. I think it's been actually really good. So last night's game without Bertuzzi in there, they threw Nick in there, probably didn't get a whole lot of reps practice-wise before that. I think missing Bertuzzi there yesterday hurt them, and especially in a tight game like that. But, you said Burakovsky got some reps today on that first unit. I think he's a guy that has gained confidence since the start of the season, especially with Connor. I think that he's earned that opportunity to be with that group. So great playmaker, big body. I think he sees the ice really well. I think he can help that unit.
Well, you mentioned confidence, and at practice today, I actually asked Jeff Blashill about the power play, and he said that confidence was such a big part of it. Is when you're feeling good, when things are going well, it makes you play better in the power play. With that in mind, you've got two really young defensemen running the power play units for the Hawks. You've got Renzel on Unit 1. You've got Levshunov on Unit 2. What have you made of their initial entry into the power play world? And do you see guys out there in those roles struggling, or do you think they're holding their own in that regard?
I think they're holding their own. I mean, yes, that's a big responsibility for a young kid to make an NHL roster and then say, hey, there's your first power play unit. You're going out there with Bedard, your Nazar, you got Tirabassi, and you got Bertuzzi out there. For a young kid, it's pretty overwhelming that you step into that position. But he's poised. I think the one area that you got to keep reminding him is, hey, you're out there for a reason. You're not out there just to be a player that has to give the puck to everybody else. You got to find a way to become a threat. And to become a shooting threat is always the most important thing for the guy on top, because all that does, as soon as you become a shooting threat and you wind up like you're going to deliver it to the net, PKers have to respect that. They have to tighten up. They have to collapse back to the net in case the puck does get there to cover from behind. So I think that's probably the one thing that I would keep encouraging the young defensemen to do, is to make sure when you get that puck, you're not out there just to be a distributor. The first thing you have to be is a scoring threat or a shooting threat. And when you do move the puck, then that'll give more time and space for the guys that you distribute it to.
With the move of Burakovsky up to the top power play unit and moving Tirabassi down to the second one, I think a lot of talk has been, since Tirabassi has been here, is like playing him with Bedard, and we haven't seen it at 5-on-5. And now that they're off the top power play unit, how do you think that will affect Connor? And then how do you see Tirabassi being able to be a little bit more effective on the power play? As he can be a really good distributor at 5-on-5, but I don't know if we've seen that translate so far this season with that top power play group.
Correct. And Tirabassi is an elite passer. We saw that on the game-winning goal in Tampa the other day. That saucer, soft pass that laid to the space that Nazar skated to was one that maybe only 10 or 12 players in the league could make. So he is an elite passer. There hasn't been great chemistry. I think probably because the smaller players together, I think probably isn't the greatest fit. So having a bigger body with Connor sounds and looks better. Burakovsky is a guy that can grind it out in the corners a little bit, get to the net front a little bit better than Tirabassi can. Obviously, Tirabassi passing skills on the power play. I liked him on the first unit. I liked how him and Bertuzzi worked that side of the ice when Bertuzzi would release. But I think at this point they're just going to try a few things. I think being interchangeable at points is going to be really important as well. So just because Tirabassi moved to the other unit, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think Blash is going to experiment as the season goes along on giving guys different opportunities. And then at the end of the day, to be a good team, you got to be compatible with everybody. You got to be able to play in that slot, whether it's the first unit, the second unit, whether it's not on a unit, you still have to perform in what's asking you. So I think getting those different spots, playing with different players, playing different spots on the power play is only going to help their development and growth as the year goes along. So I think a little change right now is a good thing.
Well, we've been seeing a lot of change and rotation and guys having to be able to play with everybody with the 11 forwards, 7 defensemen lineup that Blashill's gone to basically every game except maybe opening night.
The first one, yeah.
How have you seen that working out? I know he's liked to use that to get Connor and Frank some more ice time and also kind of leveling out the defense. How have you seen that playing out?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, with the young D, especially since they're relying on 4D to kill penalties, having Crevier as the 7th D. So in case one of those 4 guys, get a penalty, you have another defenseman that you want to kill penalties. He doesn't want Levshunov, and he's kept Grzelcyk off PK units for the most part. So having that bonus defenseman back there in case one of your regular D do get a penalty, I think has been really important, especially with the amount of penalties that the Hawks have taken through the first 8 or 9 games. So I think that's a luxury. And the other part, like you just said, it gives you more flexibility on the bench. When you got a player going, you can, instead of disrupting the flow of your bench, you already know you're going to 11 forwards. It gives them the ability to find the guy that's really going and get him some more ice time. And again, the Hawks are young. They get a good, hungry forward group, handling 2 or 3 extra minutes a night. As long as it's not the same guy and he's playing 23 or 24 minutes as a forward night after night, I think that's something that Blash has really enjoyed being able to do, to mix and match. And then another thing it does do is it keeps the other team a little off balance if they're trying to match, especially defensive pairs against Connor or certain players, gives them an opportunity to kind of get away from those matchups as well.
Just sort of zooming out away from the special teams necessarily, this team out of the gate has overachieved standings-wise. I think they're in a better position than maybe we had expected. And if you look through, the preseason predictions from everybody, everyone says second to last. Some of the underlying, at least the public analytics, say that this is sort of smoke and mirrors from the Hawks. Your expert eye, you've been watching them all season. Do you think what the Hawks are doing right now is sustainable? Do you think they're a team that has taken that next step? I'm not going to say playoff team, but a team that's going to be playing meaningful games late into the season.
Well, I do think that what they've done through these games is started in the net. I think there's no way we can deny that fact that Spencer Knight has stepped up and shown the Blackhawk fans why Kyle Davidson's trade last year wasn't just a trade to get rid of Seth Jones' contract and do whatever. It was to acquire a piece to the puzzle that was going to be a very prominent marquee player for the Hawks moving forward. And he's settled into that. He's handled that role of being asked to be the guy. And he's been the best goalie in the NHL. You can look at statistics, analytics, whatever, and the eye test, what he's done for the Blackhawks on how he's calmed down any sort of struggles in their own end or any mistakes they're made. He's there. And so that's the foundation piece that I think has been the part that I think gets everybody so excited. I don't think he'll be able to play at that pace the whole year. I think he's going to have some drops. I think there's going to be some games where he gives up 3 or 4 that you say, he wasn't great tonight. But so far, he hasn't had those games. And what I think that does for your young defense is it says, okay, when we clear out and box out and we do these little things, if there's a loose puck around the net, we just shoot it to the corner, we're going to be okay. I think it gives those guys more confidence of not having to over defend or think, oh my gosh, we got to dive in front of a shot and run ourselves out of position to do that. Our goalie's going to make that save. So I think he's settled down the team. I think that's been the brightest spot. Back to your original question, what should the expectations be now that we're, a tenth of the way through the season? Should they be, can they make the playoffs? I don't think that that's fair to say, well, with what they've done, we should expect them to make the playoffs. What we should expect them to do is see lots of games like we've seen where they're going to be tight. There's going to be a lot of new challenges for them that they're going to face. And then just keep playing as hard as they've been playing. If they do that, who cares how many points? This is my opinion. I don't care how many points they get. If they continue to play as hard and play for each other like they have through the start of the season, it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a year that's going to be the step in the right direction. It's going to be all of the things that Jeff Blashill and Kyle Davidson and the rest of management planned for this team for this year. So with that being said, I kind of skipped around your question. I think they can be 500, and that's realistic. And if they can push past that because they get the power play going, they stay healthy, and some of the other younger guys, grow into their roles a little bit more, I think it's going to be a really fun year for Hawk fans and for from a development standpoint, a very positive year.
Well, you talk about how Spencer Knight provides confidence for the team, the way he's playing, and how some of these results early on can provide some confidence. I think one of the guys that is driving this team, at least early on to start the season, has been Frank Nazar, and he's not a guy that's short on confidence. And we've heard a couple of the veterans talk about how much energy he brings to the group. I know Ryan Donato mentioned that after the game a couple of nights ago. I think it might have been the game that was on ESPN. When you have that kind of player and you kind of have that guy that has a personality that's a little bit of infectious amongst the group, and you have this young of a team, do you feel like the way that the early momentum has gone, the lesson learning or the hard nights in the league that a lot of these guys, these young players have to go through, do you think they can kind of roll with that confidence, roll with that momentum, and learn lessons while also getting positive results? Like, because we talked about it this season, is there's going to be a lot of growing pains in the idea that they're going to lose games and they're going to look bad losing them. But can they go through growing pains, so to say, while getting those positive results and learning those same lessons?
Answer is yes. And you brought up a good player there in Frankie Nazar, not just because of how well he's played and scored and done, really since the last 10 games of last season. He's proven that he can score every night and make big plays. The one thing that I think he does that we've talked about and hinted about is it gives, Connor Bedard, whether you want to say a running mate, whether you just want to say a buddy, whether you say somebody that he can experience this, growing into being a player that can not only be a superstar because everybody knows how talented you are, but a team that can bring a team together. I think having a running mate like that is perfect pair. So I think that the influence that Frank's had on Connor has given him the confidence to kind of be a kid again. I think when Connor got here at 18, he's looking around and gosh, they signed all these older players. I'm looking around this dressing room. I'm 15 years younger than a lot of these guys. To get more and more younger kids into the locker room, give them a voice, give them kind of a group to hang with on the road, to kind of act like kids, like they are, I think has been extremely beneficial. And I think the older guys, especially when I say Foligno, Murphy, Dickinson, guys that they're, I think, feeding off of that young energy and really enjoying hanging around with the kids in a different way now that they've kind of stepped out of their shell. And I think Frank's been a big part of that. And again, it's been fun to watch. It's early in the year. If they keep playing as hard and as competitive as they are, that's all we can ask of these guys.
Yeah, it really feels like Nazar's emergence, and even if he was not performing at the level he's at, just have somebody else to kind of take some of the spotlight off of Connor has been helpful too. Even just, being in the room after practices, not everyone is just hanging around Connor's locker waiting to put a camera in his face and ask him a million questions, because there's other guys on the team that are part of this thing going forward, where his first year, it was basically him and a bunch of stopgap guys. Now it's him and Frank and Levshunov and Rinzel's here and Spencer Knight's here. So there's so many more guys that matter to the ultimate conclusion that Kyle Davidson's trying to reach. It just gives him some room to breathe a little bit. And I think that's been almost as helpful as anything.
I mean, you made a great point. I mean, there were pieces of the team in the last couple of years that were fillers for sure. If you I'm looking at the roster right now, and I can say, I could see 14 or 15 of these guys being here for 3 or 4 more years. Where last year and 2 years ago, when I look at the roster, I'd say, oh, there's only going to be 2 or 3 that are going to be here and continue on as this group moves forward. So I think the building blocks and the pieces that have been inserted into the lineup this year really give you hope, because you're going to watch these guys develop, and they're going to be here. When the time comes when they're going to have a legitimate chance to have great success in this league. And I think that part, I think the guys are starting to realize that too. Like, hey, we're not just here, to pass a little time go until the other guys get here. I think most of these guys are feeling confident that they're going to be part of the future. And I think that means a lot to them as well. And what we haven't really talked about is Jeff Blashill's influence on the group. He's given them the confidence to be themselves. He's kind of carved out a little bit of role for each of them. Some of them are different than others, but each of them know what Jeff expects that they can add to the team. You don't want all the same. You want, Colton Dock has been given a certain responsibility. Obviously, Makheyev's been given a responsibility. All these guys, I think, have really understood what's being asked of them. And if you grade out on all these guys, I mean, the worst grade, I don't know, would be maybe a B- out of all of the players this year so far. And that's outstanding after 10 games that you say, well, this guy's having a terrible start to the year. I don't know that you could say that about anybody in the lineup. So kudos to the coaches and kudos to the guys for absorbing what Jeff's tried to instill here.
All right, Tony, we know you're short on time. Thank you so much for making the time for us today. Can't wait till our next visit. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, guys. Always fun.
All right, that's Tony Granato, CHSN Blackhawks analyst. He'll be on the calls going forward for the next handful of games here. So look forward to that. We are late for the break zone. We're going to hit it right now. Hit that like button. In the meantime, we'll talk to you in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers like you get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. And with the Bet365 NHL early payout offer, you're a winner if your team gains a 3-goal lead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app, use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. Then you get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. It's very easy. Sign up, use our code CHGO365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. And you can use those bonus bets on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. This offer is in-app only.
And hey, coaches, listen up. If you're looking for more athletes to train, Eye on the Ball is where you need to be. It's very simple. You create your profile, upload your background check, and you're in. For just $50 a month or $500 for the whole year, athletes of all ages and all sports can find you directly. And our good friends Chris and Dave are in office today from Eye on the Ball.
Yep.
They were letting us know about a promo going on right now where coaches can try using their services for free for 6 months. That's a pretty good offer.
It's a great deal.
So if you're looking to continue to grow your coaching business and reach more athletes, check it out right now, eyeontheball.net. That's eyeontheball.net. It's really easy. Eye on the Ball doesn't mess with your schedule, your payments, or your business. You're in full control, and they connect you with athletes that are already looking for coaches just like you. Again, eyeontheball.net is where you need to be. Don't wait. The athletes are already there looking for you to coach them up.
All right, we are back on CHGO Blackhawks. Thanks to Tony Granato for joining us, and a lot of people really enjoyed that segment. Get used to it. We're going to have him on a number of, almost like a dozen or so?
Like a dozen times, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. So we appreciate the feedback on Tony. Always good, always insightful. And when he's here, we'll have more time. We'll stretch the legs a little bit, have a few more laughs. Yeah. But we wanted to get to some of the stuff. One of the things he said that stood out, his last point, where he's like, I'm going through the sheet here, and I'm trying to grade all the players, and the lowest grade I can come up with is a B-. And I want to ask him, who got a B-? But he's kind of right.
Yeah.
As you go up and down the roster, you've pretty much gotten what you've wanted from everybody. And I would say, I'll play along. I'll say, like, who's the B-, right? Mm-hmm. I would say that I think Andre Burakovsky has had a tougher time getting going offensively than maybe I expected, especially with the opportunity that he's had with Bedard. I will say, obviously, has had some things going on in his life. His wife just had a baby, and the whole having a baby thing isn't just the day the baby's born. There's the weeks leading up to it, the weeks following. So it's a big moment.
The years following.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So to say that, well, that was one day, should be maybe now that the baby's been born and things are a little more secure, whatever you want to call it, he'll start finding his way. But overall, I think he's been effective. And we'll hear from Jeff Blashill later. He talks about why he's on a top power play unit. So I would say that could potentially be one of the guys who said, maybe we're expecting a little bit more from him. Yeah. I think a lot of people might say Artyom Levshunov, but I'll tell you, if you start digging in on some of the analytics around Levshunov lately, he has been at or near the top of the boards for the Hawks. Now, there is still a moment or two every game where you got to hold on to your butt cheeks and hope for the best. And Adam Hoke said that to us today after the show. He's like, is it just me, or is every time Levshunov has the puck, I have a heart attack? It feels that way, but I feel like it's gotten less and less often. He's looked more confident with the puck. Yeah. And I think you see a moment like you saw from Levshunov last night where he clears the puck off the ice while laying out Corey Perry. It's a little thing, but it shows you that confidence is starting to grow for him. The thinking is starting to diminish a little bit, and he's using his instincts, because that's when you watch Levshunov at Michigan State, that's the kind of player he was. Yeah. I'm going to move the puck with speed, I'm going to put on the tape, then I'm going to lay you out, and then I'm going to score. Like, that's the whole package of Artyom Levshunov. So hopefully we're getting closer and closer to seeing that fully realized.
You talk about, the dig into the analytics. I'm going to do that right now.
All right.
From Natural Stat Trick, amongst all Blackhawks defensemen, 8 of them on the list here, Ethan Del Mastro played 1 game. So 7 defensemen. Chances for at 5-on-5 while on the ice. The best percentage at 50.98 is Artyom Levshunov. Second best at 50.69 is Matt Grzelcyk.
Nice.
Fenwick, which is shots towards the net that don't get blocked, different from Corsi. The top defenseman at 53.66% is Matt Grzelcyk. The next best defenseman at 48.76% is Artyom Levshunov. And shots for percentage. These are shots that actually go on the net. The top is Matt Grzelcyk at 55.46%. But second at 51.25% is Artyom Levshunov. He also has 7 goals for and 3 against while on the ice at 5-on-5, and is the second highest expected goals for percentage at 5-on-5. That is Artyom Levshunov, 55.37%, behind 56.05% for
Matt Grzelcyk. Norris Trophy candidate,
Yeah.
Matt Grzelcyk.
Best defenseman on the team, Matt Grzelcyk, analytically. But so you look at what Levshunov is doing, and those are just 5-on-5 numbers. You throw in his power play time as well. Those numbers get inflated a little bit. But
Yeah.
you see what he's been able to do while he's on the ice at 5-on-5, and while there are those moments that kind of make you go, ooh, boy, he's still a net positive while he's out there.
Right.
And I think for a 19-year-old defenseman who will turn 20 soon, I think his birthday is like in the next couple of days, tomorrow is his birthday.
Hey,
Tomorrow
look at that.
He will be 20. But still, for a 19/20-year-old defenseman to be net positive in the analytics, to be running a power play unit, like, I think what you're seeing from him to begin this season, and even just from game 1, which he was scratched, to game 9 yesterday, there's been an improvement. And that's all you can ask for at this point. Like, you want to see those steps forward, those improvements from, the beginning of last season to the end of last season. He was a much different defenseman. You're already seeing growth in the first handful of games. So I think it is still trending in the right direction for Levshunov, even though there are still a lot of those moments where you're like, you get a little antsy.
Yeah, well, one of the things, too, about him is that even at Michigan State or even in Rockford or wherever, that is kind of part of his game is there's going to be those risky plays, but he's got the speed and he's got the skill to kind of make up for them. We have seen that this year. But, again, they're throwing a lot at a guy as a 19-year-old, 20 tomorrow, that I think he's handling overall well. Those things will get cleaned up. Those are the sort of things that can be coached. Those are the sort of things that he's going to kind of learn as his game evolves at the pro level, where, okay, I got away with this in Rockford. I cannot get away with this in the NHL.
Connor Bedard had to go through the same stuff.
Yes, yeah. And he, to some point, is still going through it, still learning those lessons. And I think that's something where I was actually having this conversation with Tracy Myers walking out of Fifth Third today. Yeah, I dropped that name. Take that, everybody. About just like coaching, right? Like sometimes it's hard for the greatest NHL coaches to coach greatest NHL players to coach the game because it's like, well, it's easy.
Wayne Gretzky.
Like, right? And somebody like Connor Bedard, somebody like Artyom Levshunov playing in Belarus, right? And then he's never really been challenged. He's always been the best player.
Right.
So he's never had to really work through that growth, whereas somebody like a Matt Grzelcyk or a Nick Foligno or a Ryan Donato or whatever has had to, at every level, overcome, rise above, prove themselves, that sort of thing, because they're not gifted with otherworldly ability. So I think sometimes those lessons come a little bit slower for those guys who were so naturally gifted their entire lives that learning to struggle for the first time can be a challenge. So I think we're seeing that a little bit with Levshunov. We've definitely seen it with Bedard, but I like the way that Levshunov, his arrow has been steadily going up.
Yeah.
Those holy crap, never do that again moments, instead of being 3-4 times a game, are now maybe once or twice a game. And hopefully that'll go to once a game, and then maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and then a couple times a month, and then eventually it'll just be every now and again, right? Like that's the idea. And I also like what Tony said too. I want to see, he's got a great shot. Levshunov. Yeah. So does Renzel. I want to see both those guys. I know they're young. I know you want to defer. I know all those things. But the reason that Renzel and Levshunov, part of the reason that those guys are on the power play units is because of their shots. Use them. Take them. How many post-game shows have we spent yelling at Connor Bedard? It is not selfish to shoot. It is not selfish to put the puck in the net. There was a moment today when practice began where Jeff Blashill blew the drill dead and said, bear down and score goals. Like he was just frustrated that throughout the drills, no pucks were going in the net. He's like, bear down and finish. Get it done.
It's hard to beat Spencer Knight.
The point of hockey is to score goals. It doesn't matter if you're 19 or 37 or anywhere in between. Yeah. No one's going to be mad at you for scoring it. Levshunov's got a great shot. Renzel's got a great shot. Artyom Levshunov has played 8 games this year. He has 7 shots on goal. That's not enough for a power play 2 quarterback. No, he's got to be getting pucks through on net. Because, look, you've got guys. Power play unit 2 is You got Foligno out there. You got Donato out there. You've got net crashers
Green
on that unit. Those are the kind of guys. Like the first unit, spread it around, move it. You got Nazar, got Bedard. You got great shooters, right?
Well, and you got Bertuzzi at the usually when he's healthy, that's your net front guy, which is a great net front guy.
Right, but especially power play 2 is basically a bunch of net front guys.
Yeah.
So use that. Get the puck to the front of the net and get it in. Let's actually hear from Jeff Blashill next. He spoke after Hawks practice today. Do us a favor, hit that like button. We're back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks, presented by Bet365. Winter is right around the corner, and you need to know if your home's heating is up for the challenge. Get in touch with our friends at Four Seasons. They will get you squared away. Now is the time to schedule your Four Seasons furnace tune-up. You're thinking about a whole home generator? They've got you covered. At Four Seasons, they guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays, because that's when those things break.
Yep.
It never fails. Check out some of their other offers as well, including saving $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. Call today and save $50 from your trusted local experts. Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric has been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
There are deals sweeter than candy going on right now this Halloween at Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake. Come in today to shop the No Tricks, Just Treats sales event and drive home with 0% financing, $0 down with no payments until 2026, and 0 hidden fees on select new Chevrolet models. Or you can check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With one of the Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. And as one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're able to keep their prices competitive so you know you'll get a great deal. And Ray's price promise means you can shop confidently because the price you see is the price you pay. Don't miss out on their No Tricks, Just Treats sales event going on all month long for 0% financing, $0 down with no payments until 2026, and no hidden fees on select new Chevy models. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
All right, we are back, and at long last, we have some new merch for you, the Blackhawks fan. It is the CHGO Face-Off Collection. We've got the Skull and Cross Sticks Chicago Hockey Club design, which I really like. Well, I ordered both of these, by the way, immediately. And we've got the Hawk with the tomahawk.
I think that's Tyler Bertuzzi's skull.
It does look like Tyler Bertuzzi. Or Sam Lafferty.
Missing that tooth, yeah.
With the missing tooth. Very cool. Get them at store.allcitynetwork.com, or you can become a diehard at allchgo.com/join and choose one of those shirts for free. If you're an existing diehard, like so many of you are, you'll save 20% on these brand new designs. Get those orders in. They are in the pre-order stage, so once a certain threshold gets ordered, they will be printed and shipped. So the quicker we sell them, the quicker you get them. So get those orders in today, store.allcitynetwork.com, and always encourage you to check out everything there. There's always a never-ending supply of Bear shirts,
Yes.
Cubs, Sox, everybody, Bulls, great stuff. And if you're a fan of an out-of-town team, Dallas, Philly, Phoenix, etc., they've got merch there too. So check it all out, store.allcitynetwork.com. But most importantly, become a diehard at allchgo.com and pick one of those shirts or any shirt you'd like for free. Or you get 35% off $35 off. Bucks or percent?
Bucks
Off a hoodie or hat.
It's a good deal. Do also want to mention we have 3 takeovers this year.
Yep.
The first one of the 3, December 13th, you're out of luck. Sold out. January 19th, that's us up in the suites for Jonathan Taze's return to the United Center. Also sold out. So if you were hoping to get a suite seat, should have jumped on it. That one is sold out. The last one we have is the season finale at home, April 15th against the San Jose Sharks. Tickets are still available for that one. So if you missed out on the 13th, which is against the Red Wings on Chris Chelios bobblehead night, on the black jersey night, Too late. But if you want to see the final tune-up before the playoffs on April 15th at the United Center, tickets are still available for that game. So check it out at allchgo.com/events. And you guys scroll down a little bit. All the Bears tailgates are there, but you'll find us, and you can get your tickets there. I think there's like 10
Yeah,
left?
there's 6 or 7 left.
Yeah, at least 6 or 7, maybe 10. But jump on that so you can come on out. And each takeover has some different,
something tied to it.
different little events tied to it as well. That last one includes coming back to the studio for the final regular season post-game show and hanging out with us while we do the show.
And help us finish the Portillo's cake left over from the Cubs playoff run.
Yeah, I'm sure there
should still be some here
There's
in
at
April.
least 7 of those cakes still in the fridge.
Yeah.
They were expecting to go on a longer run. But, yeah, check that out and join us. Always a good time.
Yes, always a great time. I'm going to raise you, by the way. You're saying it's on the black jersey night. I'm going to say it's a black jersey night.
Well, yeah, they're not going to just do it
I
once.
think there'll be more than one. Yeah. Okay. What were we going to talk about? We had some
Jeff
Oh
Blashill.
yeah, Jeff Blashill. That feels like a lifetime ago. Let's
of the
hear
year.
from the Blackhawks head coach. This video today is courtesy of the Chicago Blackhawks because I had some audio issues, so we're using their video today. Here he is after practice today.
How is McKay doing today?
I'd still say day to day. I can't say for sure that he'll be in or out tomorrow. I would say the same with Tyler Bertuzzi. Tyler didn't practice, so we'll see. It probably makes him more doubtful, but they're both. I'll probably have more tomorrow.
McKay is upper body. Is that right?
Upper body, yep.
Okay. What about Bertuzzi?
Upper body, yeah.
Specify.
Upper to mid.
Well, when you're down 2 forwards like that, do you start to consider going back to 12 and 6 to not put a strain on the forward group, or do you not want to disrupt them?
It's a good question, and we've had multiple games now where we've had 11 and then somebody got hurt, and so now you're down to 10. I think I just have to watch in kind of our energy level of our forwards, and if we think the energy level's draining because of overexertion. There's multiple reasons why things like that happen. Sometimes it's travel, sometimes it's emotion, sometimes it's all those things. So we'll continue to monitor it. I will say it really fits our decor to go 7, and I think our decor has excelled at 7, and so it'll be hard for me to go away from that, but it's something I'll continue to monitor.
It looked like Burakovsky was in the top power play unit. What do you like about that?
First off, we wanted to look at it today in practice, and I can't guarantee that's what it'll look like tomorrow. But I don't, you'd rather try things out in practice than in game. So let's try it and see if we like the look of it. I think Burakovsky's been very, very good on the power play. This would not be a knock on TiVo at all. I think I could point to 5 guys on that unit and say different guys have had, differing reasons for its lack of success. But I think, maybe it sparks us a little bit if we decide to go with it. They'd have opportunities to look like today where they go downhill. You have opportunities, to play the other side and be more on one-time sides. I think Berkey's been really, really good on the power play when he's, so far from what I've seen. And so maybe it gives us a spark.
You mentioned making a tweak on the breakouts, and you're doing a little bit more practice with that today. What would you like to see them improve?
We were just trying to, the tweak going into the last game was a little bit more with Frankie and just trying to utilize his speed. With Berkey, it's probably not as needed, but I still think Frankie needs to be a threat as a speed somewhere in our breakout because he is so fast and he can kind of be, game breaking, whether it's stretching like we did the other night where he almost got in alone there, or whether it's using him coming up the ice. So we'll keep kind of looking at those things. People get in different ways. Some guys are real speed units. I would say, Connor probably likes to kind of maneuver his way in. That's the way Nikita Kucherov is. Some guys like to, say Andre attacks with a little bit more speed, so it gives you a little more speed in that kind of spot.
According to the public numbers, the power play metrics aren't that great. I think it's like 3rd to last in scoring chances. The internal numbers as concerning as that?
I'd have to look and say that for certain. 2 things I would say is the power play hasn't been good enough. Okay, so I'm not doing one. Now, the second thing I would say is I would, I think Scott and I talked about this earlier, like small sample sizes are small sample sizes statistically. So I don't overanalyze things, especially 9 games in the year with statistics. We try to let it build, just the reality of it. I know you want to grab something and make an argument, and I get that. But if you really look, mathematicians would tell you not to even come close to looking at small sample sizes. So the power play has to be better, if that's the quick answer to it. And it has to be better in the sense, too, that it gives us momentum. And, so not cause frustration. That's how your offensive players get confidence. That's how your team kind of builds off it. So we'll keep working on it. Looking at different ways.
You mentioned in training camp how it took Tampa about a month to catch on your penalty kill. Are you seeing a similar situation here with the power play?
Oh, that's a good question. Not necessarily. I just think power plays are funny. Like, offense is a confidence-driven thing, and when you're not kind of rolling, it seems like nothing kind of goes right, and then you score a little bit, and next thing you know, you get confidence. Confidence is an amazing thing that I've seen in sports, and so we just got to find a way to get our guys in position to have some success, hopefully get some success, and then build off that.
I know McKay had a pretty good chance on the PK yesterday. Mm-hmm. Are you being aggressive enough? Are you seeing enough? I know you want to create some short-handed chances off that too.
Yeah, the way I've seen shorties happen usually come from your own end. So it's not, I think we're certainly being aggressive enough in our own end. I think we've missed a couple opportunities where we could really take off and go. Like even the last game, we got a turnover. It looked like maybe Frank and Turbo could go, and then we kind of turned it over. So we missed that opportunity. We'd certainly like to score shorthanded, be a threat that way. So we'll see. That's probably been a secondary focus to kind of understanding the principles of our kill first. And I think as you get kind of, again, confident with it, all of a sudden, you learn how to kind of feed off each other. Like Frankie and Turbo could be a group that could definitely be a threat shorthanded. Mikhail is a guy that can be a threat shorthanded. So we'll keep working on that. It's something we want to do.
Did you feel one more?
Yeah, you're good.
Did you feel real good about that first period?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we came out and played a really good first period, to be honest with you. I thought we were, I thought our structure was really good. I thought we created turnovers because of it. I thought we transitioned because of it. Connor had the 2-on-1 chance. I thought that was really good. And every game's going to ebb and flow. They're going to go in. They're going to come out better. I thought we kind of had some unforced errors with turnovers after that. But I liked the way we came out. It made you feel good about, off of a big win in Tampa, some travel. We came out and did a good job. So we just got to keep building off that. And it's not going to be, that was something that I thought 2 weeks ago, our structure in those areas wasn't good enough, especially neutral zone. So it's definitely something that's gotten better.
All right, there he is, Jeff Blashill. Thanks to the Blackhawks for use of that video. We appreciate that as always. The more time I spend covering him, I just really appreciate his candor.
Yeah.
For a guy who said, when the season starts, I'm not going to give you a lot of information. He gives a lot of information.
Oh, he just won't give you the lineup. That's
right. But he still kind of gives you the lineup.
He said the first, was it the first preseason game? Or yeah, I think it was the first preseason game. We were trying to figure out, okay, who's the starter, who's, all this stuff. Just standard questions. And he was just like, I don't really do the whole lineup thing, so I'll let you guys do your jobs. So it was funny, yesterday's game, I asked him about Arvid Soderblom starting, and he was like, who's that? And I was like, Arvid, he's starting? And he was like, oh, yeah, okay. It's just like, yes, you're starting.
I forgot
goalie.
that guy's name.
I was like, but yeah, he definitely does. He's, not as, I'd say, detailed and granular as Luke Richardson was.
Yeah, Luke loved that.
Where he would go 5 minutes on a question to answer it. But yeah, you get a good amount of information out of Jeff Blashill in a way that, even for people who are not quote unquote in the game or whatever, can understand it, digest it, and kind of figure out what he's talking about.
All right, we are right up against the break zone. We're going to hit it. I do want to get in. I know we talked a lot about the power play with Tony Granato, but it is kind of the big story of the Hawks right now. And if Burakovsky does indeed get that opportunity with the first unit, what would it look like? Let's talk about that next on CHGO Blackhawks. Hit that like button for us. We're back in 2 minutes. Chicago Sports Network is the official TV and streaming home of the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox, broadcasting over 300 live games per year, and our friend Tony Granato on CHSN.
Yes, catch him there.
CHSN offers the all-access plan that's $29.99 a month, and that gives you access to all the games and programming on the network. Or you can go with the individual team plan. That's $19.99 a month, and it gives you access to the games of the team you select. So if you're a big Hawks fans and you don't care about the Bulls or the Sox, the $19.99 a month deal gets you every Hawks game. Boom, you're covered. You can sign up to watch CHSN at chsn.com, or you can watch via the CHSN app, which can be downloaded on Apple and Android devices, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and Samsung TV. CHSN is also available now on Xfinity, DirecTV, DirecTV Stream, and Fubo. Visit chsn.com for more details. That is chsn.com.
And if you're saying, watching the games on TV are fun, but I'd like to go to a game, well, check out the Game Time app. It's the one that gives the advantage back to fans. It is the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Incredibly easy to use. The Game Time guarantee means that you can trust that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. If you want to go to the aforementioned Bulls, see them play at the United Center.
Undefeated Bulls.
Or the Blackhawks play at the United Center. Check out our friends at Game Time. They got zone deals, which allows you to save even more when you choose the section, but let Game Time choose the seat. And the great view from your seat, which gives you a view from the seat. Look at that. That's pretty
clever.
simple, right? You can see what it's going to look like. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use our code CHGO, and you're going to get $28 off your first purchase. Tap Ticket Go. Download the Game Time app today.
All right, that was the final break. We promise. We are back for the remainder of the show. Let's talk about Mike Vellucci's power play unit here. Looks like Andre Burakovsky is going to get some run on the first unit with Bedard and company. And what he has said about, what Blashill has said about Burakovsky all along is that he's really good on zone entries and really good at carrying the puck with command of the puck and entering the zone. And that has been the biggest issue on the power play. And because I agree with Tony, once the power play gets set up, Tony Granato, I mean, once the power play gets set up, it's fine. Right. There's good puck movement. I see they're, especially the first unit, they're trying to get Bedard that one-timer opportunity, which he's had. He had scored that goal against, was it Utah, where he scored the one-timer power play goal, I believe?
It was early.
Yeah.
It was his first goal of the year. So was it Montreal?
Maybe it was Montreal.
Night?
Whatever. Either way, it worked. Yeah. And he had another good look last night, same sort of a shot. So once they're able to establish and set up and start distributing, it's fine. The entries have been the problem. And someone in the chat mentioned the big problem is it kills a minute of the power play because they lose the face-off. They got to chase it. Then they do the slingshot, and then that doesn't work. They got to do it again. So the first unit almost spends their entire time trying to get the puck and set up.
Yeah.
If you can get a guy like Burakovsky to carry the puck in the zone, cool. And I also think, too, he mentioned it with Bedard. Bedard can do that, too. So now you've got two guys that can carry the puck into the zone. So the penalty kill opponent doesn't just go 98's carrying it in.
Right. Put
all attention on him. Now you've got two guys that can do it. Hopefully it results into more zone entries, and then from there, who knows? Because if you can just have 25% more zone time,
it makes a difference.
You're going to get another shot or two every power play, and that adds up over time.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at how the power play has kind of panned out through the first 9 games of the season, and some games you're coming away with it where you say the second unit created more, had better opportunities, and they're getting a fraction of the time that the first unit has. And I think some of that can be chalked up to the way that Andre Burakovsky carries the puck. And so I think if you bring that to the top unit, you can give more of those dangerous players, Bedard and Nazar, opportunity to play with that advantage. And it's a big difference in when you have a player who can, Burakovsky can do a lot of the same things that Teuvo can do. Maybe TiVo, yeah. maybe not distribute the puck as well, but I think carrying it in is the big difference, and you can get him to play. And as Tony said, like you get a guy like him that can go and get pucks too. Like that's a big part of it too, because keeping a power play alive in the offensive zone is just as important as being able to get it into the zone and set it up. Like you have a guy like Burakovsky that can go into a corner and win a battle to keep possession rather than, puck gets rung around the boards and you got to go back and chase and set up again. So I think there's some benefit to having him out there. And I think once you get set up, this is a dangerous group. It's just the getting set up part.
Yeah, that is their biggest challenge for sure. So a lot of people loathing the slingshot, and if you listen to the show for any amount of time, I have too. But it's what most teams in the NHL use, and the Kings used it last night. The way the Kings did it differently, though, is they had two guys come from the defensive zone full speed into the offensive zone, but they timed it perfectly. So they would, and neither of those guys, the times that I was noticing it, were actually carrying the puck. They just timed out those two guys blitzing down the boards on each side of the center.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then they would carry it in the zone, and then two guys would enter with full speed. So as soon as the puck crossed the blue line, you've got two guys deep already. I mean, that takes a perfect timing, a lot of experience to execute that. The Hawks are far away from that. But I like the way that looked, because then you've got the penalty kill unit really on their heels, because you've got someone's carrying the puck in with a good amount of speed. Then you've got two guys blitzing at you forward full speed. That gives you a lot to think about.
Rather than just the puck carrier and one other guy.
Because I think it was pointed out in the chat too, like the way, I think it was the Majestic American Woodcock just said, it is so automatic and predictable. The way the Hawks do it is Rinzel or Levshunov are going to bring it up slowly. They're going to stop at center ice, and no matter what happens, they're going to pass it. That's not hard to plan for.
Yeah, I think you're just in a situation where your other option is basically a carry-in system or a dump and chase system, which the carry-in, I mean, you're already working with it. You try the slingshot. I understand the benefit that it's trying to bring. And your power play is not built with the guys that are going to go in and chase and win board battles to win possession every time. Might get one or two, but I think you're still going to run into the same issues. So it's the system that is going to be set up for the talent that they have. It's just the execution of it. And yeah, like you said, like the predictability of it, I think is an issue. And with the young defensemen, those are, Rinzel and Levshunov, those are the guys that most of the time are starting the power play entry, that are in charge of what is the drop off or the slingshot pass. And I think sometimes you want them to just have that confidence that you would think a 8-year veteran would have, to just be like, oh, I can just
do it myself if I
Seth
have
Jones
to.
would do that a number of times.
Right.
But guys that are rookies don't necessarily have that confidence, or maybe even feel like they have that green light to say, I can take this puck. I'm not going to just be robotic and, strictly go with the drop off pass. Like if they have an opportunity to take it and go, that can come with time. But I think it's set up for for the personnel you have. And hopefully as these guys grow in their game and they get more confident with it, then we'll start looking at it as, well, this is the system and this is how it's supposed to look and this is how it's supposed to work. And look, it's working. Like, I think we want to get to that point, because the alternative is, I think, just not set up for the guys that they want to have on their power play unit.
If you had Rinzel or Levshunov carrying it up with speed and with purpose, even if they know eventually I'm going to dump this puck off to Frank or Connor or whoever is coming up the rear, it's going to give the defense a reason to sit back a little bit or wait, or not just like immediately start shifting over. But both those guys approach center ice with the puck so deliberately that there's no way they're carrying it in. There's not even the threat of it. So I think that's part of the problem, is even if you're going to do it every time, hit at least the center ice area, hit the neutral zone with a good amount of speed to at least create the illusion that you might take it yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's just going to make the other team have to prepare for another possibility. And the other thing Blashill was talking about, the other day, said they wanted to just kind of change the way the power play looked. What he said was they want to get Nazar carrying the puck a little bit more. So use his speed through the neutral zone. So that's something to watch as it goes forward. Look, the Kings are a really solid defensive team. They're really strong down the middle. So I think it's safe to assume that the power play would struggle against a team like that. But as it moves forward here if Burakovsky does indeed play in a top unit, because Blashill did kind of say we don't know for sure if it's going to last. We just want to give it a look in practice. But just some things to look for is who is carrying the puck into the zone now. I think it's going to look different. I think PP1 is going to be Burakovsky, 2 will be Nazar, and let's see how the results translate on the ice, because it needs to get better. And look, last night was the first time the Hawks entered the third period in a game trailing.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a trend or is even close to a trend, and the power play starts to even be average, middle of the pack, they're going to start winning some games. That could have been a big difference in last night's game.
Well, and last night too, we mentioned it on the post game. It was a game where you had drawn more power plays drawn more penalties than you took.
Yep.
That's something that we haven't seen very often this season from this team. So that's one of those metrics that when you get that, you want to take advantage of it. So the second unit, the puck carrier is going to be interesting if this is how it's going to line up for the game tomorrow against the Senators. You got Ryan Green, Donato, Doc, and Tirabassi. I think Tirabassi is probably your puck carrier.
I might let Donato do it.
Yeah, I mean, one of those two, because I don't think Doc's not your puck carrier.
I mean, maybe the move eventually is you put Nazar on one and Bedard on one. Maybe you break them up. And I know you want to have your two most skilled guys out there together and playing, and I get that, but
they work well together on the power play.
They do. There's no doubt about it.
I would rather them be on the same one.
Me too. Yeah. But it's if you're not getting results, so you got to try something new. And the reality is there's not a ton of offensive firepower in the Blackhawks yet. And your two most powerful offensive weapons on the same unit might not be. It's a great luxury, but you might not be able to have that for long. Let's see how it goes. I think the Burakovsky idea could work. And I think also just when Bertuzzi gets healthy, that makes a huge difference because he's just so impactful on the power play. Yeah. Little note before we go. Tomorrow's game is at 7:45. It is part of the NHL's Frozen Frenzy, which is their version of the Red Zone. I love the thought. I love the effort. But hockey does not translate to a Red Zone style broadcast. And on Red Zone, you can very much look at the many games happening and say, this team is about to score, or that team's about to score. And you could jump to that game accordingly. You can't do that in hockey. It's rush. Isn't
it they do it when a team has a power play? Isn't it power play?
That would be the one way you could do it.
Tight game with 3 minutes to go or something.
I just don't think anyone cares.
I think I think also you're doing it. You're squeezing 16 games into a 4-hour window, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be hard to do. This should be executed on a Saturday where you can go noon to 9 p.m. with start times.
And just call it rivalry weekend or original six showcase.
Yeah,
or
either way. Because staggering it every 15 minutes that's all well and good. I think that's what you should be doing on most nights anyways, even if it's not 16 games, even if it's just 10 or 8 or whatever, stagger them. You don't need 5 games to start at 7 o'clock. But I think, it's a lot to kind of fit into a day where you're not even starting things until 5 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah.
But I applaud the effort.
Yeah, they're giving it a thought. They're giving it at least a fighting shot.
Yeah, give it a try.
Hey, we have an idea. Let's take someone else's idea and see what we can do with it.
Sure.
All right. They're trying. Just hasn't really worked yet. All right, we're going to wrap things up. We are back tomorrow after tomorrow night's 7:45 puck drop. against the Ottawa Senators. Hopefully the Hawks can come away with a win.
Senators.
Bad news for
play
them. They
tonight.
play tonight.
Yeah,
Hawks
so
loss.
we'll see a good first period, and then they'll lose the game.
Hey, it's a good. If you're looking for a coaching point from Jeff Blashill, there it is. These guys played last night. Let's change the narrative and play a solid 60.
You can't go 0-3
here.
facing your first 3 tired teams. Can't.
Correct. Exactly. All right, we'll talk to you after Hawks and Sens right here on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.